kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Kani zanu ndizo panda pindu. Anakulira miseu mwatu. Tikufuna chilengede chazo pano. Osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. Kwenyu kunata pano. We take the race. Tikonza jiko. Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Kani zanu ndizo panda pindu. Anakulira miseu mwatu. Tikufuna chilengede chazo pano. Osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. Kwenyu kunata pano. We take the race. Tikonza jiko.
Today is a wonderful day, Saturday evening in Lusaka, and wherever you are watching us, share this broadcast. We've decided to have an urgent broadcast, an emergency broadcast, unscheduled broadcast because of the events that happened on the Copper Belt. The head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, is on a 2 days working visit to the Copper Belt. There was a fire at Chiwempala a few days ago, and many residents, many traders lost goods and valuables in that fire. It was a huge fire. And President Hakainde Hichilema therefore scheduled a trip, scheduled a visit, scheduled an address to the people of Chiwempala. What turned out was not good. The president was stoned, was chased, and he abandoned his speech, he was whisked away and traveled out of Chingola. He was at a football stadium. He had bought in Kitwe 30,000 tickets, so the stadium was free, power packed. You know the Nkana Power Dynamos derby, as we call it, the local match. It literally puts Kitwe on a standstill because the two big teams have literally half the city to each other. So President Hakainde Hichilema, we're going into politics, decided to buy some political mileage, political fortunes, bought 30,000 tickets for our soccer fans who love football. But we saw the videos. He was whisked away many minutes before the game ended. Did they fear another Chiwempala crisis? So before we come on, I want to provide analysis. I want you to call in. This is a people's forum. It's not my forum. As soon as we are done with the preparatory remarks here and I play the videos, you are allowed to call in. This matter in Chiwempala reminded me of the matter in 1990. You know, when Dr. Kaunda was being told, he was just coming from an election in 1998. He was the most popular. He had scored something like 87%. The frog, also amassed some votes, about 13%, together with sport votes. But he was coming from a popular election in 1998. And in 1990, they told him there's a wind of change. President and UNIP didn't want to believe it. He says this is a work of saboteurs, the work of bitter people, the work of demagogues. UNIP pulled out a list of vocabulary we've never heard of to call the criticism that was rising in the nation, the criticism and repression that was rising in the nation. UNIP said, no, these are just demagogues. So there was a famous match. President Kaunda, being soccer fan number one, like President Hakainde Hichilema is trying to pretend, went to the stadium, Independence Stadium, packed. When his motorcade was coming in, they stoned it. Not with stones, but with eggs. Now, the economy had collapsed. The country was facing the highest cost of living at the time. We had a huge foreign debt of $7 billion. There was repression in the country. There had been riots before, food riots in 1987. There had been food riots in 1990. There had been attempted coup. What did UNIP tell the president? Mr. President, people are suffering. Where can they get eggs from? These are saboteurs. These are demagogues. Your stoning is wrong. No one stoned you, but they stoned and booed him. The first defiance public act live on TV, which Zambia witnessed. UNIP tried, and the soothsayers around Kaunda tried to demonstrate, like you've seen. I don't know how many statements my fellow friends I call the M23 have issued just today. Everyone explaining from their angle of what happened in Chiwempala. What happened in Chiwempala is something serious. Like the 1990 issue, they'll try to justify it away. They'll blame youths, they'll blame the opposition, they'll blame everyone else except themselves. I'll come and analyze why President Hakainde Hichilema is entirely to blame for the crisis we have on the Copper Belt, for the crisis we are facing on the Copper Belt. So what am I talking about? Let's start with Chingola.
Natumfuane mkwai. Mishikilia mbabwe. Natumfuane mkwai. Mishikilia mbabwe.
When we saw the fire happening, we were very, very distraught. We are very sorry to all those who are trading here, who have lost their stores, who have lost their merchandise, who have lost money here. We are sorry about that. That's why we're here to find a solution to the fire that took place here.
Ichalenga tikuise kuno twali kuntikirwa n'obulanda pakumono kwewa market yapyano omuliro inenga kateka wenu natitetintanna leke lukopa beot kamfike kuli ichichiriro mbonetola atwabana.
Leave those guys there. Leave them.
Bakit kalau kapukul? Baik kata, ai serebu, baik kata, ai serebu baik kata, ai serebu baik kata, ai serebu baik kata. Vai ser pro vai cantar.
Kanana wakateka babutuka. Ya nana. Kanana. Hapo nye mfuyo. President Zabutuka. Kanana wakateka babutuka. Yanana. Kanana. Aponye mfuturo. Yanana President Zabutuka.
Today is a People's Forum. It's your forum, so you should immediately call. I want to hear from you. Let me look at my phone if it's charged so that you can call. The state of the country, we're a country in crisis. There's no power. Small companies, small and medium companies have closed. Large-scale companies are struggling because you can't run gensets for 24 hours or 21 hours. Government is giving power only for 3 hours to residents. It's not enough even to freeze your fresh foods. Life is very expensive for our people. We are facing, like in 1990, but far worse, the worst living crisis in living memory. We have food prices that are their highest. We are facing a momentous crisis. But this government wishes to tell you that everything is okay and that Zambia is growing at 6%. You also see the attitude of the president. That's why he can subject himself to a public gathering like the one in Chiwempala, where the disaffection is highest. He has given away KCM to Vedanta in 2024. It's almost 2 years. Nothing is happening at KCM. Vedanta had promised and pledged to invest $1.5 billion. The president was warned. Vedanta for 20 years did nothing but extract and pillage and take away resources. And KCM and Chingola really is a reason why UPND got some of the highest votes, because the disaffection in that town is the highest. If there is any company, any city, any town on the Copper Belt that is heavily disaffected, is Chingola. Instead of getting a new investor, instead of even allowing ZCCM to run KCM, he gave it to Vedanta. What is the outcome? 2 years later, Vedanta is back at its usual lies. Look at Mopani. Mopani, they said $1.1 billion for a company from IRIH. That's not true. There are even strong allegations that the president has bought Mopani himself using layers and layers of sophisticated companies. He says it's IRIH that is associated with one of the biggest sovereign wealth fund from United Arab Emirates. Doesn't look so. In fact, the first thing they did was that IRIH, immediately after getting Mopani, they gave away the copper waste dump in Mufulira, Chingola, Luansha, and even Kabwe to Jubilee Metals, a company again associated with the president. One of his business associates is a chairperson of Jubilee Metals, which is running these waste mining dumps in Chirilabombwe, Luansha, and now Kabwe. The political temperature on the Copper Belt is extremely high. But the president is lied to. No, you've reopened Mopani, you've reopened KCM, you've reopened, all these mines that they say he has reopened on the Copper Belt. That Lubambe mine is opening, that Senseli is opening. So they tell him these funny stories and he believes them. And what we saw today was a humiliation and embarrassment of a head of state, something similar to what we saw in 1990. The lines are open. Call. I want it to be your forum, and I'll start with the first call. I can see there's a caller already. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening, my dear brother. Who's calling? Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Thomas Alan Ziambo, calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Wow, this is a privileged call. Thomas Alan Ziambo Mwewantu Wakwalesa is a prominent journalist in our country, investigative journalist. He's been at the brunt of President Hakainde Hichilema's oppression. He's been cited in the United Nations reports and in the US reports, country reports on human rights. Thomas, I'm privileged that you are calling, and I'm privileged that you said your name. Give us your view and analysis.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mam. First of all, I'd like to thank you for providing many Zambians this platform to express themselves. I would want to comment on what happened in Chingola today. Ambassador, what happened in Chingola today, first of all, I'm not in support of any misbehavior, any conduct which demeans the office of the president is not supported. But I would want to emphasize one thing. What happened in Chingola today is exactly what happens when you suppress citizens' freedoms. Although most of the people there who are in Chingola, those people, if they are given an opportunity to express themselves without fear of cybercrime laws, without fear of being cited for hate speech, without fear of being cited for seditious practices, they couldn't have behaved like that. So when you find people behaving like that, citizens behaving like that, just know that they're being suppressed. What happens when citizens are told not to express themselves is they keep things in their heart. So whenever there's an opportunity, they come out like that. Look at, you have alluded very well to KCM. When the president was in the opposition, he publicly said that once in power, you will never allow KCM to be owned by Vedanta again.
Thomas, just switch off. Thomas, just switch off the broadcast you are listening to. There is a device that is open, so it's giving feedback. Or put it away, far away. Then continue.
I think there must be someone nearby me. Not.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Okay, so what I was saying, the Ambassador Mwamba, is, when you see such behavior from citizens, unjustified so, it's because citizens have been told not to express themselves. That means citizens are scared of expressing themselves. The coming of UPND into power has brought in a lot of repressive laws, hate speech, seditious practices. So people of Chingola, have not been happy with some or most of the decisions which the central government has been making on their behalf. For example, I gave the example of Vedanta owning KCM. The reason why Chingola residents voted for the UPND, the major reason, as we like to put it, was because they were promised that KCM will be given to an investor who uplift the living standards of the people in Chingola. There have never been an apology. KCM was given back to Vedanta. Then the Black Mountains are given back to the same people who own the big major mining companies. So for me, that's a wake-up call. Though it's very negative, people are violent. I repeat, I don't support that, but it's a wake-up call for this government to allow citizens to express themselves. The freedom of expression, the freedom to assemble in Zambia is not there. So when people have an opportunity, because they were assembled by the state. Because they have no freedom to assemble, to express themselves, they take advantage of them being assembled by the state. They brought those people together, the state brought them together to hear the president say, then they said, okay, this is an opportunity for us to express ourselves. So for me, Ambassador Mwamba, once again, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I was looking for an opportunity as well to express myself. I think we are being suppressed too much. There's just too much hard-handedness in the freedom of expression. And the result is what happened in Chingola today.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. Thomas Ziambo is a senior journalist and is given his view. Look, if there are people that really suffered, it's Chingola. Chingola, look, lived with Vedanta for 20 years. Vedanta was just pillaging, Vedanta was just stealing, Vedanta was not investing, all the pledges were false. The phone lines are buzzing, and I'm glad that people wish to speak. So let's quickly take the calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador. Speaking to the Falcon.
The Falcon, good evening, my dear brother.
Good evening. Yeah.
Speak in the microphone, my brother. You seem muted. Speak in the microphone of your phone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah. In the first place, I just want to condemn what happened in Chingola today, and then also to appeal to government to say these are the results when you're not listening to the people. In as much as I'm condemning what happened today, but let government learn to listen when people are crying. Okay, the mines minister, let the president take interest in what is going on the copper belt. Because these small scale miners, they've been engaging the government. I think they're on record. But what we haven't seen that much from the government coming to their head. Okay, and they're resulting in this. But it's unfortunate they were not supposed to do that. That's a head of state. So let the president have his games now, because that is a signal to say the people on the copper belt are not being honest with him. Okay, those young men, they feel abandoned. And it's unfortunate that they reached to that extent.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The president was on the copper belt, was in Chuempala, and the president was literally booed, as you heard from when he tried to speak, the voices were getting higher and higher. They just refused him to address him. And then someone was saying, I saw a friend of mine says, when he watches the video, were those bullets what the president was ducking? No, the president was standing at a podium with corrugated roofs. I think they had made the temporary shelter. Those were stones landing on the roof of where the president was. So I think that should be an explanation. To my knowledge, there were no bullets whatsoever. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Mama Machipa.
Yes, Mama Machipa, please make your contributions.
I just saw this afternoon what transpired in Chingola. And I wish to say, the Zambian people are very passive people. They wait. It's like a cobra standing and hissing, and you don't listen. The cobra is hissing, but you decide not to listen to it. And what I can say to Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, if he ignores these signs of the people of Zambia that are unhappy with his leadership, and if he doesn't decide to change, worse is still to come. You see, he has taken the Zambian people for granted for a very long time, including his ministers, his councillors. Every time people want to talk, they are reminded of PF cadres. We all didn't like the cadres in PF, but all that is now gone. Now you, the Messiah, Mr. Fix-It, in 4.5 years, you have done nothing for the Zambians to glorify and say, at least we now have a Messiah. I hope Mr. Hakainde now will sit down and reflect and say, and look back. The beauty of internet is that people can go back to what you were saying during the opposition, while you were in opposition. But now, exactly what he was castigating his friends about, he has now come to deliver even worse than what his friends were kicked out for. So, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, I hope he's listening. This is a sign. Zambians are very passive. But when you push them up to the wall, he will live to regret.
Thank
He's
you.
still
Thank
got
you.
8 months to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mr.
Anne. Thank you. Thank you, Anne Matuka. Thank you.
Natumfwane mkwai. Ministry of Mabwe.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. Bamwamba chungulo mkwai.
Ndita mawe badishanwa Reverend.
Wamtende. Mlevika kwati ba aspiring president.
Oh, Honorable Given Katuta Mwelwa, my favorite president. Can you form government, Mama?
Mkwai. Tupere kuba na mayo mpando 2026. No baba mwamba. Ilili ashifi chitike chingola. Tiachiwe fisungu shwe ditesha ichalo. Muri bakaunda ndafya chitike mulando wakwa chitwaifo kufuma muri one party tuye muri multi party. Nomba inoshita muri kuri democracy mwamune fyambo kuchitika ngevi. Icho ndefo kulomba kufeva president chirife chimo. Chakwe bati he should not go for the opposition. Why am I saying so? Those who were in front, who were throwing stones, they were UPND cadres who were wearing UPND regalia. There's no way somebody who was far away from where the president was standing was going to be able to throw a stone, no landing up at your president. Abachuba kunta nshinga mwalolesha ama video yalia, iba UPND. Edio chintu chimbi ndefo kulanda pali ba security system yesu ina ichite expose is porous chishibanga banampera seditious if inalanda is so scary that our system is porous pantukula ba advance party ila itangira kuya chenchen taicho baperera nakangwe kalya ko babapera ati ka entertainment bakutinga bayingira mu mabana ngo mu saluni womfu ichalo chikeresha ni panuma yakocha ipanuma yapya nani kani market eno na panuma yakuti bali abalumendo bali bapoka mine. Now let me speak in English. The truth of the matter is that the mines were taken over by UPND cadres. No other person was allowed to be near those mines. The Black Mountain and other mining activities. Secondly, when they were coming, they were calling for security to stop that group which were going in there. It means this group is a known group of these miners and who have been mining. It's the UPND cadres. So my prayer is that they should not go for innocent opposition to say you are the ones who did this. Secondly, the truth of the matter, you can even tell that it's the UPND themselves who were pelting those stones at the president. How would it be possible somebody from opposition or somebody from anywhere to be closer to where the president was? If that's not possible, that meeting was all about the UPND that had been brought from all over to go and be seen. Like Chingola, the town Chingola has gone to become the president. So what I'm saying is that no one should even be, should even be accused of being responsible for this. It's the government system itself which has laid down the president.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Yeah. Thank you. That's Honorable Given Katuta, our MP for Chiengi, and also she's a presidential candidate. Literally saying everyone was transported by themselves. These were UPND people that had gathered. The pelting of stones and the booing of the president all came from his own members and his own crowd. But they'll try to blame the opposition.
Kanana wakateka babutuka. Yanana. Kanana. Hapo nye mfuyo. Yanana president zabutuka.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Kapia Kaoma.
Yes, Kapia, make your contributions.
Yeah, I just want to concur with the previous call. Analyzing, people may know me, I write on these issues. Analyzing the events, looking at the videos, and the way the police were stationed, they were looking at the crowds. There's no way somebody with a stone can reach the stage where the president is unless it was planned. So the whole thing, as much as we are saying that, the youth were unruly, that group was planned to do that. The police were there. The first people sitting in front where the president is are dignitaries, meaning party leaders. So there's no way the young people can move all the way from the back to come in front unless they are known by the party leaders, district leaders, and everyone like that. You are politicians, you know how you go about arranging who will sit where. So for those boys to walk all the way from the back to come in front with stones, where were the police? Every row is monitored. All right? So there was no way they could reach there. Now, it is one of the things we should be very careful about. Chingola has been a place where President Hichilema knows he has been very unpopular from the beginning. You remember the destruction of the homes in Kasompe, the mining issues, the whole thing about the market. He knew what he was going there for and how the people would respond. What we are witnessing is a situation whereby the UPND is trying to create a crisis that, if we are not very careful, is going to engulf the entire nation now, on the Copper Belt especially. The UPND itself is refusing that there was no incident that took place on the Copper Belt. According to their own narrative, the statement they have released, they have said the youths were on the roof of wherever the president was seated. Number one, if that was the situation, that the youth can be on the roof, the president is speaking, and the youth are on top of the roof where the president is addressing the nation, that tells you something. Meaning,
back up here. Clearly, look, we've seen the videos. The videos are telling a bigger story than any of us can demonstrate. Yes. The president was stoned, the president was chased. But I appreciate your, I appreciate your narrative. Your narrative back up here.
They want to come up with something, they want to come up with something else here. This is the group, the situation about the UPND of lying. What they want to come up with, the story is this, which is going to come up with, is to implicate the opposition leadership into this. That those youths were paid. Yeah. All right? That's what they want to say. And now what you're going to see, they will be arresting opposition leaders who are going to be linked to those youths as being bribed to attack the president. And as a result, we are going back to what happened during the Chiluba, when Kaunda and the opposition leader like Mungomba, who was a threat to Chiluba, were arrested for treason. You will see very soon some of you guys who are in the opposition will be arrested, linked to the event that happened today. That's why I don't want us to be so excited about saying, oh, the youth tried to attack the president. Because when those boys they start rounding them up, they will be forced to confess some names of politicians, opposition politicians, who will be linked to what happened in Chingola today. And
thank you. But Kafwa is Kafwa is an analyst and is given a perspective, is given a theory that the UPN, even from their statement today, will shift gear and begin to blame the opposition, accuse the opposition of being behind it. But as you saw, they were booing across, the entire audience was booing the president. The president tried hard, the master of ceremony tried hard to calm the people so that the president could speak. Even the president was not allowed to speak. Whether they will turn it as a theory against the opposition, that's another matter. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. Good evening, my fellow Zambians. Zephania is my name. I'm calling from Zambia.
Thank you,
I want just to say, Mwamba, M23, they are struggling. They have Frank Bwadia. N'abalemba balefa okuyidifenda ati abaiche bachirenga ati bapresident babutuke. Now, if children, those who wanted to watch the president, they have made the president to run away, then there is a problem in Zambia. The problem is that the president Hakainde Hichilema, he doesn't want to listen what is happening. The truth of the matter is that they won't even try to put that blame into the opposition. When you look at all the videos, when the president went there at the Chiwempala market, people were shouting, Kasenseri, Kasenseri, and the president ignored. And when he ignored, little did he know that when he went there now to go and address the people, people had already started talking about the Kanseseri. What they wanted was to hear from the president. The audios and the videos are very clear. So whoever is going to say now it was opposition, that's not true. The truth of the matter is that I'm also a political analyst. I want just to analyze what I have seen is that UPND, our provincial ambassador, Elisha Matambo and the mines minister, they misled the president. And even the OP, they also misled the president because they knew what was happening on the ground. And they wanted to play a game like as usual, the president is going to speak to the people. Even the president himself, he ignored one of the videos, says that those are children, leave them. You know, the president was telling those who informed him that they are throwing stones. The president said, ignore them, those are children. Few minutes later, the president was whisked away. So there is no opposition who has involved himself. Is the people of Chingola. What is happening? This is an open eye for the president. When we speak, Mr. President, please listen. Listen to us. We are your eyes. We are your eyes, and when we speak, you must listen. Don't listen to people who have surrounded to protect their job. They want to protect their berries because they are eating. Now Zambians are suffering. Zambians are crying. So we have heard that one of their members has been arrested. So how are they going to implicate opposition? The truth of the matter is that this is an eye-opener. The president went to Tanzania, he went and now it has come him. We want to hear what is to say tomorrow.
Thank you, Zephania. Thank you. The line begins to cut. Zephania has spoken.
Kanana wakateka babutuka. Yanana. Kanana. Hapo nye mfuyo. Yanana president zabutuka.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, Chirimbike Zulu, calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Mr. Zulu, make your contributions.
Yes, what happened in Chingola today is very unfortunate, and I think heads must roll. People put the life of the president in jeopardy because they haven't been telling the president the truth. You know, these people have been going to the president, telling him all was well. They've been duping the president, even renaming the copper belt as Bali belt, just to dupe the president. Now, what has happened on the ground in Chingola is a testimony of what is really obtaining on the ground. And I think the president now has a feel. So action must be taken. You know, it's important to be telling leaders the truth. Whether you are eating or you are not eating, tell the leaders the truth. There's no way people can take the president to Chingola. After that incident, a hostile environment that was witnessed in Chingola, again they take him to the stadium. What are they trying to prove? In Chingola, there's been so many issues that have happened. There's been the issues of the 345 houses. There's been issues of the Kasenseri mine, issues of gassing which haven't been addressed up to now. Now, people want to keep their jobs. They want to tell the president what the president wants to hear. Tell the boss what he is supposed to hear, not what he wants to hear. So in short, there was a serious lapse from the security personnel, party functionaries, advisor to the president for politics. I think in these circles, heads must roll. That was a serious breach, and they put the president's life in danger. I submit, Wamwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The lines are open. The lines are open, and make your contribution. This is People's Forum. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your views are about what happened in Kitwe and in Chwempala in Chingola.
Kanana wakateka babutuka. Yanana. Kanana. Hapo nye mfuturo. Yanana president zabutuka.
Here is the official update from the police about the matters that happened in Chingola. They're saying there were riots and arson around 1450. That, I think, after President Hakainde Hichilema left, people went into a riotous situation. This is a statement from the police. They say the Zambia Police Services wishes to inform the general public that a serious incident of riot and arson occurred in Chingola district. Today, November 8th, 2025, at around 1450 hours at Chwempala Market and at Chikola Secondary School. I showed you a video of the police Land Cruiser being burnt and the water being looted. Chingola Central Police Station has received a report of arson and from Superintendent Lloyd Kanondo, age 48, a police officer based on the Copperbelt Division headquarters, who reported that a Toyota motor vehicle, white Land Cruiser, registration number Zambia Police 2537B, was burnt by an irate mob that turned riotous during the presidential visit. Brief facts are that the district earlier in the day received the Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who was addressing marketeers at Chwempala Market at around 14 hours. As the president was still addressing the public, some unruly individuals began breaking and looting into shops. When police moved in to contain the situation, the crowd became violent and started charging towards the venue where the president was speaking. For security reasons, the president was safely whisked away and escorted to the landing pad at Chikola Secondary School. However, the violent mob followed the presidential motorcade, kept on throwing stones at the vehicles. In the process, motor vehicles for the police were attacked, windscreens were shattered, some were overturned and set ablaze. Superintendent Kanondo, who was driving the vehicle, discharged 10 rounds of pistol ammunition into the air in an effort to disperse the mob, but to no avail. The estimated value of the government property destroyed is yet to be determined. Additionally, the mob burnt the presidential holding tent belonging to an events company of Lusaka. which bent the floor carpet, 2 carpet runners. They burnt a presidential portrait, the coffee table, and they also burnt the portable toilet belonging to Krisai Company of Lusaka, and they also shattered windscreen of motor vehicles, Isuzu registration number CA593, belonging to Mr. Chishamsonda, who had transported the portable toilet. The total value of all these damaged properties have not been estimated. The police have since apprehended 2 suspects, identified as number 1, Abraham Chilumbu, age 24, an employee of number 24 Isunge Road, Chwempala Township, and Abraham Schone, age 21, a bar attendant at Mjomba compound in Chingola South. Both suspects are in police custody and will appear in court soon. The police say calm has since been restored in Chingola.
Kanana wakateka babutuka. Yanana. Kanana. Hapo nye mfuyo. Yanana president zabutuka.
Callers, the lines are open. I was just doing an update on what has happened on the Copper Belt, and I was reading that statement, so I wasn't picking up the calls. You can now pick up the phone calls and make the calls. The president was in Chwempala on the Copper Belt. He was attending to, he attempted to address the marketeers who had lost, the traders who had lost a lot of goods in that fire that gutted the market a few days ago. And there were attempts to announce compensation for the traders, not the farmers, but the traders. There were attempts to pacify the people of Chingola. But did the system fail the president? Number 1, did the president listen to advice from the system and ignored the advice? How prepared was the system? Chingola is one of the biggest areas where the president got the highest presidential votes. Why? It's been a hotbed. They've been burning legacy issues in Chingola. Vedanta was there for 20 years. They did nothing but pillage the mines, reduce a mine to literally a ghost town. They, kept on saying they will invest $1.5 billion, $1.2 billion, $1.6 billion. An audit was done in 2015, which demonstrated that Vedanta were not paying taxes, were not paying utility bills to ZESCO and others, that Vedanta were not paying NAPSA, that Vedanta were not paying contractors, and the huge bill of about $200-300 million had emerged. When the president got those 2 seats, he swept Chingola because there was a lot of disgruntledness. So you can imagine the expectations by the people of Chingola. Expectations are so high. They attempted to allow the tension to dissipate by allowing the mine, youths especially, to mine that Senseli copper waste dump. But there have been issues. We lost lives. Over 35 lives were lost. Up to date, their bodies entombed in that mine. And the president has since allowed a company to operate, and they've removed the youths, and there will be some sort of compensation. The disaffection immediately grew. There was a by-election there. The PF scooped it. Why? Because they had just demolished over 380 houses that were near an airstrip. The disaffection in that town is very high. In 2024, the president decided to bring back Vedanta, a matter that was met by strong opposition. But the Minister of Mines and his team and State House decided to sugarcoat the matter. They sponsored union voices, gave them public coverages to welcome Vedanta into the town. We warned them. Vedanta is broke. Vedanta is running a huge debt of over $9 billion, a bigger debt than Zambia owes China. And we said this company is literally bankrupt. It's shuffling the cards to survive. And what did KCM do? They picked the assets of Chingola Deep and they've brought them to New York here, and they've been trying to get a loan of $1.5 billion. And why was KCM given back to Vedanta? Because the debt is very high. They owe Zesco over $800 million. They owe NAPSA. They owe contractors and suppliers over $300 million. The debt is in excess of $1.5 billion if you look at the historical debts to Standard Chartered Bank of South Africa and other financial institutions. And then you give the mine back to Vedanta, the very entity that ran. And they've been running propaganda. No, it's a liquidator. It's a liquidator. No, the historical facts betray those allegations. And they've a way in which they suit the president. Mr. President, you've reopened Mopani. Mr. President, Cobalt is coming back. It's reopening Lubambe. So the copper belt itself is a Bali belt. You get the highest votes here. We saw the president an hour later being taken to a stadium, a full stadium. And we saw many minutes before the game ends that the president was being whisked away. Is it the failure of intelligence? Or are they dealing with an obstinate president who will not take advice? And now the entire system has suffered embarrassment. And I can imagine my colleagues, how they are trying to blame everyone except the president, except their own selves. Let's take the calls, and I want to hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Joseph.
Joseph, make your contributions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Yeah, there's a Bemba saying that says, Munshewa airena mafikuko. That is a Bemba saying. So what we have is we have one, a president who has failed the system to start with, because such a situation is not even supposed to happen, to the president in the first place in an area like that. Then secondly, it just shows how dissatisfied the system is. In this case, those that are supposed to give intelligence, because we had a similar thing, Ramwamba, if you remember, about Lamcos when Chiluba went to Rwansha. It was a similar situation, a similar crisis about lone Anthrop mining. And Chiluba managed to speak to the people and he brought their tempers down. Why? Number one, he accepted there was a problem. Secondly, Chiluba was humble. Our president is proud. And because he's proud, he doesn't listen to what people are saying. The cries of the people of Chingola are straightforward and simple. They have been demanding, first of all, just like you've mentioned, the issue of the mine, KCM. Then secondly, the Kasenseri mine. That is, those are the bone of contention. Now, when you have a leader who doesn't listen, this is exactly what you see. And trust me, this is just the beginning of the challenges that this president is going to face. Why? When you are proud, you become too pompous. You become blind to the reality. The truth of the matter, Bamwamba, is people are suffering. People are in pain. And once more, the fact that there is this suppression of people's expression makes it even worse. And this is what we saw. That one, for me, is a clear indication that people have rejected you as a leader. The whole president, it didn't end there. People knew, that if that game ends and the president is still there, it will be worse. And that was the right decision to whisk him away before the game ended. So people are not happy. You cannot buy people with lies, no propaganda. Reality, truth, facts. Empathy is what matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dear viewers, I have termed in my, as you've seen, what we call the lower thirds. I've said the Copper Belt crisis is a national crisis. It's just not a Copper Belt. You have a nation facing the worst load shedding. You have the nation facing, the worst cost of living crisis. Food prices remain extremely high. We've seen some stability a bit in the exchange rate for the last 2 months, where it has stabilized around 22 and 23, but we've had a volatile exchange rate market for the last 3 years. And there is no justification for the improvement that have taken place for the exchange rate to stabilize. But our people are suffering high food prices, high fuel costs. They are suffering. Let me take this call. They are suffering from all manner of suffering. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from Zambia, Dollar.
My dear brother, make your contributions.
Yeah, with regards to what happened in Chingola today, I believe in, pacifism. So totally, I do not agree with settling any score by way of violence. So what happened in Chingola today should not have happened. And for every peace-loving Zambian, they should condemn that kind of conduct. If at all there's anything, we know that in Chingola there's a lot that has happened, recently, and it is likely that the people are aggrieved. But there should be a peaceful way, a rational way of settling our grievances. And since it is a politician who was on the stage, the president himself, so they may dislike the individual, but we must always remember that we must attach respect to the presidency, which is the institution. So we may not like HH, but can we uphold, the dignity, that respect that goes with the office of the president? And that way, we can have a continuity, because it is this kind of conduct that erupts into something that people may not even, control. In the end, we understand. We know there's a lot of, we've seen articles fly around, and there are those allegations and insinuations that things like what we saw happen at Chiwempala Market. The same people are behind it, and after such happens, they want to act, sympathetic, and so there could be all these things that are happening. But I think let us maintain peace for the good of our country, because that kind of conduct can end up, having people who are innocent, who are just there to listen to the president, to watch what is happening, children and women.
My dear brother, voices like yours, why don't you express your concern to the president? Why do we shift blame to communities that are aggrieved, that are complaining? Why don't you tell the president, for example, an issue around KCM and Vedanta? Why wouldn't you demand? You're from Undola, transparency in the sale of Mopani, and Mopani promised a lot and nothing is happening in Kitwe. Why do we want to blame people and not go to the root cause?
Ambassador, we are not blaming the people. We are only reminding our brothers.
I wish your efforts, you and many people have seen the narrative. I don't know if you belong to the other side or you are just a concerned Zambian. But there's an attempt. Yeah, there's an attempt just to blame the people who booed the president. Of course, we don't agree with the violence, who stoned the president, who looted and who took advantage of the situation. But for me, you citizens must hold the president accountable. He is not innocent. He should respect his own office. His own office requires transparency. His own office requires that he puts Zambians first. He has taken mountain dumps from Chirilabombo. He has given them to his friends, Jubilee Metals. Where are those voices to condemn the president that, Mr. President, can you be transparent?
This is what we are doing, Ambassador.
Thank you, my dear brother. So ndipo afye umutembo ufinine konse nedo muleka lipira abana besu na bakateka na bena mu abachitari mind. Mkwae. Natasha. Hello, callers, please come in and call. My concerns are that this is a national crisis. The president, why do we have load shedding? What's the official reason we have load shedding? Tell me. Is it water levels? What is it? Have we stopped the exports? What is it? Why are our people suffering this extensive load shedding 2 years in a row? Okay. Hello, caller. People's Forum. We are discussing the issues in our country and what happened in Chingola and Kitwe today.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. My name is Chimfwembe Mulenga. I'm calling you from California.
Thank you.
A very quick one. What happened today in Chingola is like a mirror image of what the people across the country are feeling about the happenings in the country. And it's so sad to say that this whole thing started at Heroes Stadium when the president was being sworn in. He allowed the people to boo the former president. If he had put a stop to that, that culture would have died there and then. But here we are today. It's such a sorry sight. It's such a sad thing. And I wish the president could just listen to whoever advises him, because that situation looked like he was advised not to go, and perhaps he didn't pay much attention, because the system is on the ground. They know what is happening in Chingola. I think that's my contribution. It's so sad, Ambassador. It's so sad.
Thank you very much, callers. This is People's Forum. We are discussing the matter on the Copper Belt. Make your call. Let's hear your voice. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, Ambassador. I just want to contribute.
Yes, make your contributions.
To the subject. What happened to Chingola, Ambassador, was very bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was very bad and also very shameful. And I don't want to dwell so very much about the Chingola one. All of us who have stayed on the Copper Belt, Ambassador, can agree to this fact. You cannot leave that ugly situation in Chingola and you allow the head of state to go to Ndola into a fully packed stadium. I was like, oh, what? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to prove? What kind of public relations are we trying to play with the head of state? Because between Chingola and Ndola, the distance is just too short. I don't know what we are trying to do in Vakateka or Vantusie around him. And Vamwamba, in conclusion, if today, for me, my prayer, Yakwevati, Kuleva Kokulachita, praying for the leaders, the former, the current, and all. Because Valungu may so rest in peace, Validandre Kofimo. I don't know sishua or whoever or bad navena Vaisaland or whoever. Sometimes Takubano Quish, but if FHTika. Wisa Isangashi, I mean Shina African Mukoshi, now Ambano Kunuina. How I pray to God that even our leaders, Vale Kwatako, a deliberate move, here what is happening. For me, that was shameful. It was very bad. And I don't know, I'm not an expert on security issues, but that was a serious security lapse. Much more taking the head of state to Ndola to go and watch soccer.
To Kitwe.
Packed. To Kitwe.
Oh, is it in Ndola? Yeah, it was at Levy.
Ndola, yes, at Kulevi. Ukutwala wagateka Kulevi. ukufuma pachingola paipi pafika mwe vantu autireposa kwamani. We know it's an institution and everything, but that
was careless.
Not very good. That was not very good. That was actually the careless of the highest level, I think. You can't do that. I felt like
you know, my dear brother, you've raised a very serious issue. Someone who's been in security before also called me, and after the videos began to emerge of Chingola, then there were fresh video and pictures of the president at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium watching the Nkana Derby. We know he paid for the tickets. Up to 30,000 tickets were paid for. But like you are saying, this security person also feared that there is a political risk here. They haven't had time to analyze the threats that occurred in Chingola. They have not had a security report on the table to analyze with the president. And they thrust him into another public gathering. Clearly, that was a political risk.
Gathering. And that was a Kitwe Derby, Power and Ghana, where you have all these sorts of characters around, and we have phones and everything. I called my friend and I said, no, this is not safe. And shortly, I started seeing the whispering and everything around. I even called him again. I said, this is what I said. You can't throw the life of this individual in the hands of that was very bad. I pray to God that Zambia, we can do better than what we are doing, Ramwamba. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Callers, you can call. We are discussing the event that occurred in Chingola. I surmise that this is not an isolated incident. The M23, the government will try to blame everyone else except themselves. They will not do an introspection. Remember, they are fooling themselves that the country is on a trajectory path, that they're scoring 6% growth. Look at the narrative on the Copper Belt, that they've reopened Mopani, they've reopened KCM, that Luvambe is about to be opened by Cobalt, that everything is glorious on the Copper Belt. Is it? Is it glorious in the country? And the events on the Copper Belt, a very process they controlled themselves. They were advanced parties. They transported those people. Where was the information? I suspect the president is not listening. I always call him a naked president because he's surrounded by people that whisper to him what he wants to hear.
When we saw the fire happening, we were very, very distraught. We are very sorry to all those who are trading here, who have lost their stores, who have lost their merchandise, who have lost money here. We are sorry about that. That's why we're here to find a solution to the fire that took place here.
Ichalenga titwise kuno twali kuntikirwa n'obulanda pakumono kwewa market yapya n'omuliro inenga kateeka wenu natitetintamna leke lukopa beot kamfike kuli ikiikiriro kubonekerala abaana.
Leave those guys there. Leave them.
As you can see, that audience is their own audience, when they are transported. There's an attempt to show that there was trouble on a corner, but you can see every time the president tried to speak, the entire audience was stopping him from speaking. Away. You can hear in their own video. So they want to blame a small section as the one behind. Maybe that small section could have been behind the stones. But the president, there was a broad objection to his speech. Remember, the president had announced that he was bringing 10 million kwacha to Chiwempala market traders. 10 million kwacha. That's a lot of money. But the people were still not pacified. His own audience was booing him. Let's take your calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay.
I'm calling you from Lusaka.
Uncle Jay, make your contributions.
Yes, there is a principle, Ambassador Mwamba, that we say, the principle of reaping and sowing. If you sow discourse, if you sow disrespect, if you sow insults, that is basically what you're going to reap. Are we happy with what has happened to the president in Chingola today? No. But what is it that we are picking out of this situation? Our leaders must be leaders that listen to the people, must be leaders that should govern the people based on the desires and the mandate that the people have given them. This issue, I've seen this thing, people shouldn't take it as a narrative. The truth of the matter is this: UPND has lost ground, especially on the copper belt. They have really lost ground. So they have to create an artificial situation that will create room for them to come through and appear to be caring to the people of the copper belt. But I think, having lived on the copper belt for the longest time, I believe that it is not going to work that way. People of the copper belt are people that cannot be easily swayed by, giving them butter today. These are people that believe in long-term realities and situations or problems solved. Right there in Chingola, we have a very, very big problem. And that issue of that market burning has actually made the situation worse on that part of Zambia. So the president should get to a place where he should understand that Zambians are people and Zambians are intelligent. Today, even as we speak, no part of Zambia has been spared in terms of electricity. 2 to 3 hours, even the 3 hours is not even being fulfilled. And somebody is saying, we are working, we are hardworking, where the economy is really, rebounding and things like that. Those are lies, and this is what we Zambians people have always rejected. Tell us the truth. Give us the actual position where we are. Tell us you have failed. We accept. All right, and give you time to say, do this and do that. But if you continue lying to us, and what's more, you begin to give us laws. The laws that tell us to say we can't speak to you when you have failed us. You actually make things worse. However, violence is not a means to solve or deal with any situation, but at the same time is actually a pointer to a bigger issue that needs to be resolved as a leader. It is a protest that tells you to say you have failed and give way to people that are able to do things the right way. I want to speak this in conclusion. That issue, whatever is going on with HH, I can actually draw it so close to what they did to ECL. Till today, ECL has not been valid. These are things that are boiling in people's minds and heart. Zambians are sympathetic people by nature. They are loving by nature, but never take that for granted. I thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, dear caller. We have another caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, or good afternoon, Ambassador. Good evening in Zambia. Thank you. My name is Robert, calling from the UK.
Yes, Robert.
What has happened in Chingola today? I would say it's a seed that this government they've been planting for a very long time, and one of them is the cyber law. This is what happens when you stop people from expressing themselves. baleti nokulanda no bambo ku mfyama bakada makweta wa ishwe ku yalefu. You know, and if Hakainde Hichilema really wants to continue to be a president, what he needs to do is he needs to sit down and ask himself in terms of why are the people very sad. And also, for me, I'm a believer that sometimes what you do to other people, you know, when you went to Tanzania, you know, the Tanzanian people were protesting about that election, and he was there giving them lectures about peace and love and everything. And what happens in a few days? He comes back in his own country. You know, so Bamwamba, this is what Hakainde Hichilema has shown is how to not, like a clear booklet, how not to run a country. Every step that is been doing is just showing weaknesses, you know, networking, you know, even that whole idea of announcing the money on the podium that you're going to give to the marketeers. I found that very insensitive. You know, because what you could have done is you cannot just make a number and put 10 million there. You don't even know how much people have lost in there. Just because it's a market, you think it's 10 million. It might be more than what you are trying to put there. So the most important thing what they should have done is put up maybe a commission to understand what the marketeers have gone through, you know, and talk to them.
Robert, another matter for me, Zambians and all of you must be asking. 30,000 tickets. I don't know how much one ticket is into Levy, whether it's 40 kwacha, 50 kwacha. The president says he bought. Yes. He's going around the country and he's making these huge donations. Achiwempale was donating 10 million kwacha. No one is asking, where is this money from? We know his salary. We know his earnings.
And no one is asking. And also one thing you're forgetting is there's an issue of farmers not being paid.
Yes, yes.
Some farmers have not been paid. So the president he's got a money tree for his political donations or political gimmicks that he's trying to do. But for people that have worked and have fed the country through their farming and stuff, some of them, they've not gotten their money. And they should be planting maize in the next few weeks. So now what he's done is he's put those people in more debt by borrowing money somewhere else so that they could start doing the plowing and planting the seeds. And then they don't even know when they'll get their money.
The farmers are, Robam, the farmers are waiting for 5 billion that's outstanding and 2 billion to 2 billion to transporters. They've been crying, you know, since they started selling their maize in June, July, you know. And here, the president can just find 10 million and donate to a small market in Chingola.
So this is what I'm saying is you cannot be leading people like that where you stand and proudly announce certain amounts to certain people and then other people that don't even know where they're going to get the money. You know, so Hakainde Hichilema is failed. And you cannot lead a country like you're leading kids. You know, when you're leading a country of adults, a combination of adults and young kids, you speak with humility and respect. And I'm sure when he goes home and then he sees all those things, and stuff. If I'm him, it's a point of reflection and a point of change, you know, because the Zambians have reached a saturation point, you know, and what he needs to pray is that this does not spread across the country, and we don't want it to spread. But what we just want is a government that talks to people nicely. You know, you cannot be telling, you know, even that issue, you know, which upset people a few days ago, where they're saying, oh, you'll be getting power for 3 hours. Why are you not clapping? 3 hours, and those journalists are even clapping, you know, for 3 hours. Meanwhile, in other countries, if you don't have electricity for over three hours, you can actually sue or get compensation from that power company because of not having power. So the whole country is broken. And this is why I've been saying for a very long time that anyone that wants to take over from Hakainde Hichilema, if they do not understand that the country deserves a second independence so that you give a new hope to the people in our country, so that the young people that were throwing stones, they need to see the future that they can all believe that it will work for them. Nothing is working for the people of Chingola. Nothing is working for the people of Mfumbwe. Everywhere you go, there's nothing that you can see that is happening in our country. So for me, it's either they change their game and they start talking to people correctly and stop telling people lies, then they'll probably be in a better position. Otherwise, abantu nabafula yala bafifira fini, you can be in power and you feel like you're Goliath, and then people would try to use David. There's a bigger story here, and sometimes when I saw it myself, this feels more like David and Goliath. Where the people now feel so powerless and stuff. The only thing they can use is what God has given them to use. But was it the right thing to do? No. But can the president do better? He can do a lot better. Can he change? I have no idea. But for me, we just need to come together as a country and give this man in 2026 the rest to just go and rest and let people that care for this country come up with policies and solutions that will save Zambians for the better and respect
Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, caller. I'm sorry you've been waiting for a long time. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. It's Mwamba. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Mwamba, make your contributions.
Hi, good evening, sir. As sad as the situation was in Chingola, of course, we do not condone violence. The writing is on the wall. This government needs to start listening to the people and to see that people are very angry. The only advice I would like to give to the Zambian people and the youth and everybody else, let's speak through our votes. I hope everybody will rally together, go get their voters' cards and speak through this, because we're tired. And being ignored and, the arrogance that is coming from the ruling party, from the praise singers that tell us we should be grateful and happy, will not stand anymore. People are upset. People are tired. We want something new. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Caller says, just register as a voter. That's the solution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Okay. This caller has hung up. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, this is Sinyangwe Dani. Ambassador Mwamba, and
Yes.
everyone that is listening. Research Chingola, we are not supporting it, but there's a message behind it. Abantu, they are fed up and they are not happy. Why I'm not saying I'm not supporting it, we respect our president, he's our head of state. But ka message oka abantu balangisha. But President Mailobale Poka Award, Man of the Award, Best Man Award Katwishi. But today, if he was the best man, people cannot treat him the way he's been treated. There's a lot that is happening, and people in Chingola have just shown the Zambian people to say, we will feel to anakana war. So thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. I won't say much because you've got a lot of people trying to call you.
Thank you very much. Ubufi Tuanaka Navo, indeed. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, I think for me, two things, maybe on two extreme ends. One is I'm suspecting these people in government are trying to create safe landing for what they want to do, because for HH to go to Tanzania and applaud what happened in Tanzania, the killing of people and whatnot, and applaud a government or a president who was elected in the way we saw happening in Tanzania, was applauding that. It seems like that's the direction he wants to take Zambia in. And it appears by causing a little bit of confusion on the ground, he begins to create this feeling like maybe there's a behavior in Zambia that is coming up that would warrant military action or even suspension of the constitution or even, a way to suspend the elections from happening when they should. I wouldn't put it beyond HH. I do not trust that man at all. And if anybody in this country still trusts that man, I think we really need to sit down and think, carefully about, what we think this gentleman is capable of doing. You've given several examples about how he has even sold mines to himself through layers of companies and stuff like that, and how they've played around with KCM. That's a man who has no conscience whatsoever. On the other side, I feel that Zambians are very peaceful people. To some extent, it even gets on my nerves how we appear to be more or less docile when these things are happening. But when you squeeze us against the wall, we lose our temper. And Chingola is a very good place to measure, how the feeling in the country is. Because that's where the food of this country comes from. Those three towns there, Chingola, Chilaumo, and Kitwe. And when people are saying things in those places and we are not listening, then the fools are us who are not listening to what people are saying. So I kind of feel like, whilst we are not people that are, akin to violence and things like that, there's a point that if you push us too far as Zambians, we will respond in a manner that will be embarrassing. And as much as people are feeling sorry for Hakainde Hichilema and whatever happened, he had it coming. He's embarrassed the Lungu family, took them to court when they should have been burying. The president, his predecessor was booed in the stadium. He said nothing about it. He called him names. He's done that to other people now. Now, he's reaping. He's literally reaping what he has sown. So those are the two comments I wanted to make. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, anonymous caller. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Kathy calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, Kathy from Lusaka. Make your contributions.
Yes, Bamwamba, nainende fokulanda kopali ababene ba president. Ba president beswaba tabonfwa arrogance yabo. Nala mpera kofye example kuri ba late president balungwa ini. Abantu, several people have spoken. Let go of this man. Lekeni ba family bachitofo bafwaya. Abantu baliranda abantu abengi. He won't listen. Now, what he needs to know is, Valungu might have been a minister to him and his people, but that man was a darling to so many people. And they all basunga Valungu kuja ku South Africa, muntu abamumog for 5 months. He thinks people are happy. The spirit of Valungu is happy. People are not happy. He is reaping what he has sown. So let the can bora yambi esho ba inde bafwaye fine because tawonfuira abantu fu baliranda. You know the Bible yaliranda tiresa landira mu bantu abantu abali 40 nga balanda against 5 unfuira abali 40 nomba bena pantu tabonfwa olokwino kuchingola balebeba abantu amanitsi abantu bakuchingola naya he won't listen. So ni for fine they can fetch to fine ero ila scenario ile chitika kuja ku Chingola. It's not only in Chingola. That is what most Zambians are going through. Muchinga expo uko kwa shani fimbi fefintu fitafe abara fitikapu awo mwandini na totera ba mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. I already have another caller on the line. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. I'm calling as a concerned citizen.
Thank you very much.
I would like to express my sentiments over the way that crisis in general are handled.
Yes.
We have a situation for the first time in Zambia where each and every single crisis is really poorly handled. We have become a laughing stock We have become a state that is just completely in disarray. We have become a people who are constantly, perpetually mocked. Not that we as a people, as a collective, are dull or not able to think, but because leadership has failed us. And the Bible says God has ordained praise from the mouth of babes. Again, the Bible says that he will cause even the stones to cry out. If you go back and listen to that recording, on that platform, the response of the president himself is that Valekeni Vana. That tells you who did what. And the false narrative that people want to start spinning, saying Vajirabo, we say no. Own it, take responsibility, and do right by the people of Zambia. If people are still crying out for justice at Kasensele, if people are still crying out for justice at Mufumbwe, it speaks volumes. This must come to an end. And it's not everybody who says what is going on that is an enemy. This must come to an end. And like you rightly said, if we put in the same effort in spinning false narratives as we do in meeting the needs of people, we will be in a better place. Do not gag people. Do not stop them from speaking the truth. Because God created us to be able to express ourselves. No wonder he gave us a mouth. I submit.
Wonderful submission. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
And well done so far.
Thank you.
Arabatila Munshewa Ailena Mashishuko. And the other thing is that those that surround Mr. Akainde Chirema, those that are able to understand the Bemba and this meaning, they should sit down with him and tell him, Apaleko maila nondo inshipali ulema. Ichalo lishirutaba tetuka keweka iyo. Nanguinga bule ba munonko iwe sobe kapoko la mukalamba sobe chinshi ichalo lishiru tetimuchika kemweka iyo. The most important thing here is that Edio mwaisala abantu baliko kulanda. Nishi mwaisala na intelligence ya chalo. Abantu abengi abashakwata mano, especially bakateka wako Africa, ifipuba. Bambona kwa tinga waisala social media, nishi walichenjela. Social media is the source of intelligence. And in the view of whatever happened in Chingola this afternoon, I think the director of intelligence must be thinking about considering his position untenable, including the Inspector General of Police. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a situation that is so serious, where somebody from the crowd can throw a stone that gets to the dais of the president. Suppose that person had a gun, who would have been talking about something else today in Zambia. Ichalo techako angala koyote chakunyela kwa mapwetete ukwete shiki eisa mma politics bane. Ichalo chali kwata olutandiko lwachiko ifyakuteka nefyakumfwana n'abantu nefyakumona efyo abantu bali kita ibyamwakaka abantu patunwa tamwaishifu bakulapanga n'obushiku nangumwinga kwata intelligence ya musango shani bantu ba intelligence bena te chafike fye munche ndamba nokubuka ifyala ifika chitika kuno mailo nifi bafwire bamfufi abantu balela nshanya. And when the people said this law that you have brought in is a bad law, it's not because they wanted to defend themselves. They also wanted to defend the government of Zambia, including the presidency. Ala munshebwa aile na mafikubuko ilo bala bawela tibata tabishi na ufala suti ngai tilafya chibakunu matimafi tilafya chilanu nkauna twachikwata meeting. So if you have kopa kufialo ifisumayo, let's sit down. I listened to what the best person I wanted to take over from Dr. Kaunda, Venon Mwanga, said, you know, we are a one Zambia, one nation. I'm speaking because I was helped so much, and I grew up with a brother, my late love mom Denda. May his soul rest in peace, wherever he is, and I've tried to look for his relatives. Uwafya wakweba tuwalatinga waimona. Uletukumuka kwa tini ntunka mafia nini nepalikiria amafia eotanyele aresunkila kunuma. Ichalo lishilu tabaka kaweka. Awobaka buswe the Minister of Mines. He has failed the president of Zambia because he doesn't understand a thing about mining. He doesn't understand a thing about the people living around the mines. So he's not fit for purpose. A lot of ministers in that government, Yawaka in the Chilema president Tibachalo Chazambi, they are just there to get themselves fat. Kwatininkumba. Without doing anything. They are the first people to help the president. You have to put your job on the line to advise somebody. If you know my president is stubborn, put your job on the line. I'm going to tell him this because I know I'll be saving his life and I'll be saving his stay.
My brother, thank you very much. I think you've brought a good point. Ichalo Lishilu, Tabaka Kaweka, thank you very much. Let's get some other voices.
Very grateful.
Just wait for a few minutes.
But on the FRI itself, now I'm coming to it, on payments. Minister, you were in Northwestern Province. You promised the farmers that by end of October they will get paid. We all said, thank you very much. The next, he says, we'll pay you when we sell maize to Malawi. Then the next, now I see an FRI, whatever statement, no, we have paid farmers. I said, where is it going? The next now says, no, government has secured 5 billion kwacha to pay the farmers. So we're still waiting. So we don't know what is the next. Now, you can imagine what it is in farmers' hearts. And our biggest worry, why I'm talking about this, I know about the 5 million which the banks are going, which are still negotiating, and we don't know when it will be released. Whether that has been announced because the president was coming here to say, President farmers. All these are issues. But at the end of the day, here is our worry, not necessarily this. When that 5 billion, now honestly, Mr. President, I want you to listen to the farmers' cry here. Me, I'm just like a mouthpiece to talk. I was told today Mbaozi was president. Here is the worry. The 5 billion, 5.4 billion, which you are going to pay the farmers. There is another 2 billion, which you have to look for the transporters, which comes to about 7 billion. Now we know how in Zambia things work. That 5 billion, if it comes today, it will not go again to the farmers. The transporters, the fumigators, they will all be lining up, no, kangono, any second drum. You see that? So by the time you find that maybe 1 billion will go to these guys, another group of farmers will not be paid. So we are humbly asking the transporters, the fumigators, yes, they've done a good job. And right now when it's raining, they also set you up and says, we can't transport the maize because we have not been paid. You know how in Zambia people try to do all these things. So there must be a mechanism that the farmers pay if they could be paid on time. And today I can tell you the farmers are casing government everywhere. Because in Vule Aloka, and these announcements next are still there. So our president, like you did last time, there was 500 million which was not paid. It was found in one night, and the following day, farmers were paid. So we are.
President vapepeka kuno kuchingola tata. Basarangana bonse. Tapari ushiri. Bali wana bachingola ndekueba. President vapepeka kuno. Yabashani. Vapepeka. Kwamba kwa ijua. Abantu bali Rwanda. Ngola kuno Mungu atata. Sakwa bara kumbe chingole yini. Echingola tata. Nana tata.
Okay, those are scenes from Chingola. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bamwamba, for organizing such a program. You know, my name is Chilufia from the UK.
Yes, Chilufia, make your contributions.
Yeah, Bamwamba, what has happened in Chingola today is unfortunate. It's uncalled for. It's un-Zambian, and it shouldn't happen. But this is what happens. We've been telling the president, some of us, we supported this president until he won, and we wanted him to succeed. And the moment he started doing things contrary to what was supposed to be done, some of us on principle, we left his government. We stopped supporting UPND. Copper Belt depends on mining. There is nothing happening in the Copper Belt. The youth are suffering. You remember the issue of Fimbo Poke complained that they're only giving contracts, orders to foreign companies, and people are connected to UPND. So people are suffering in the Copper Belt, but the president doesn't want to listen. Him is saying they've done 95%. And then Bamwamba, how do you guide people? The last thing we had riots or things like that in Zambia was in the 80s when Kaunda gagged us. We couldn't talk, we couldn't do anything. So we only ended up in the streets, start rioting. That's the only way Kaunda could listen. So for how long is Zambia going to have presidents who don't want to listen to the people? He promised that he was going to stop, to repeal the Public Order Act. He promised that he was going to abolish the cyber laws. And what has he done? He has strengthened them. And he gags people's mouths. So what do you expect? Because a president, if people were not gagged, you would know what is happening. The intelligence will know what is happening in Chingola because people will be talking. But when you got people, this is what happens. No matter how effective the police or the intelligence, you cannot stop people who are quiet because you've got them. You know, and then Bamwamba, the other thing is, as usual, instead of allowing the president to reflect on what has happened and start fighting, because true leaders, they will investigate what has truly happened here. But they've started issuing statements. Everybody is issuing statements. All the Media 23 are issuing statements. Instead of listening to these people, listen to the youth. Why are they doing this? And I've heard people, the police saying it's the opposition. No. Bamwamba, if you've got a president who is a Chumbumu Shololwa, this is what happens. You know, Balanda ati Munshebwa, aile nama fikubuko. We've got a president who doesn't want to listen. We have advised him. What you're doing is wrong. You know, why are you trying to pass Bill 7 last minute? And yet people are suffering in the copper belt. The youth have no jobs. The youth have no opportunities. And whoever surrounds the president, they hate him because they tell him lies that things are okay. Things are not okay on the ground, especially in the copper belt, where people depend on mining. How come after 4 years, this is when they are signing the local content law? What were they doing in the whole 4 years? I rest my case, Bamwamba.
Thank you very much, caller. We've got a number of callers waiting. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Njavwa, calling in from Botswana.
Njavwa, make your contributions.
Yes, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for giving me this time to speak to this pertinent issue. I myself, having grown up in Kitwe, in Uzakile to be specific, a mining area, I want to make mention that what happened, first of all, I want to say is unfortunate. It's really sad to see that what happened was directed at the presidents. But and when I hear people saying it's about the issues around the intelligence, when people on the copper belt tend to react, when people have read history, I've read about the likes of Alexander Chikwandas, about the Mposa Mabwezi in Kitwe, in Chimwemwe. I don't think they would want to speak to the issues of the intelligence. It's about what is it that the people in Kitwe, on the copper belt, in Chingola, in Chileabombwe, are feeling right about now about what is happening in their locality, right? So for me, it's not about what the intelligence has done or not done, but it's about what is happening in our country, right? So I'm even thinking, when I get back to the copper belt, what am I going to experience or find, especially next year when we go to the polls? Because if the president could be stoned, right, it tells you and it sends a wrong message about how people are feeling, right? So for me, it calls for a lot of introspection. It calls for a lot of introspection, and this introspection does from the highest office in the country, going down to ministers who have either had hands or deals in the mines, and now the young people. We are called Jelabos in Kitwe, we are called Jelabos in Chingola, Chirabombwe, but these young people, where are they finding what to eat, to put on their tables from, right? Okay, so it's about what is it that the ministers, the MPs in those areas, in those are thinking. They are putting the life of the president in danger, right? So for me, it's really a lot. It calls for introspection around what has happened today, and people not blame the fence, because the people on the copper belt no one will dictate what they're going to act or behave in a certain instance or in a given second, right? So no one should say it should give you political leaders, Ramwamba, people in position, people in government, a sense of what the Zambian person, community is thinking or going through given a circumstance or situation, right? So no one, not you, Mwamba, not your president, HH, and anyone else who can tell the voice of a community member to say, oh, you want to landefia so na so because turekupera so na so police DF coalition. But I'm like tukwete internet na ishopa. Mwamone. Ama minds ba youth banensu. Aba amajera bo ira pamigodi. Ofo kwe bati basange kwe fyakulya fyaba nabo. Tabakwete fyakulya. So kuti mwabaika peshani pakanwa. So you don't expect people to shut up. Mwamone. So for me, it calls for a lot of introspection for our friends in Zambia, for our friends at the Copper Belt, and all that. Mamonaka. So for us, it's sad that we are not there to fight this battle with them in Zambia, but I'll tell you that we feel the heat with our fellow young people on the Copper Belt. For us who were born on the Copper Belt, grew up and spend our time there.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. I've got another caller on the line. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Lilian Mutambo calling from the United Kingdom.
Lilian Mutambo from the United Kingdom, make your contributions.
Okay, thank you so much. Basically, what has happened in Chingola has not surprised me because President Hakainde Hichilema has reduced the presidency to the dogs. Many a times, Zambians have complained about the injustices, and Hakainde Hichilema has only responded with more or less like defending himself. The Zambians have had enough, and he never listens. Some of us were UPND members, we resigned because we don't want to be part of the embarrassment. Clearly, what has happened today shows that HH is losing in 2026. And he doesn't have a good team to advise him about what people are going through. Because all he ever does is to mock people. Like what happened in Mufumbwe. Most of those youths were coming from Chingola, were coming from the Copper Belt and all around Zambia. And he himself and Jack Mwimbu, justified the reason why over 100 youths were killed in Mufumbwe. Yesterday, we had another mockery from the Minister of Energy saying, you are lucky you have 3 hours of energy. We've had the M23s today. This one is giving a speech. This one is giving a speech. Because for them, they feel, whether we like it or not, we need them. We don't need UPND at all. And if they were in their right senses, they should have resigned. They have failed. The people in Chingola are struggling. Senseli mine was taken from them. Black Mountain was taken from them. And only a few individuals are benefiting. From the gold mines, they are making so much money. And the foreign nationals are getting what you call, tax holidays, whilst the Zambian people are struggling. So when people have had enough, what do you expect them to do? People will call it violence. But remember, they've mocked us in parliament, saying Zambia is not Malawi. They've also said Zambia is not Tanzania. Well, Zambia is Zambia. And the Zambians in Lusaka are silent for a reason. Most of them are supplying businesses with the government. But come June 2026, HH will know that he has nobody on his side. My Zambian people, I'm appealing to you. Putting HH in presidency was a big mistake. We've recognized that it was a protest vote. In 2026, God has given us a chance to think about it, especially with the death of Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. I feel God used this situation for us to open our eyes. Do not give Hakainde Hichilema and UPND another chance. You will suffer. So many people are in prison right now, and he keeps on quenularing about. Him traveling to Tanzania is the worst thing that I've ever seen of any president. So many presidents from around Africa were nowhere near that Tanzania matter. But we hear Never Smumba even applauding those actions. Now you can see, at the end of the day, nobody has told these young people to do anything. If anyone thinks those youths are sponsored, they are not. Baline salaba mwamba. Abantu ngata baledia. What do you expect? They are not eating. No electricity. No opportunities. Nothing. Not even any factory anywhere. Ama mines mwalisala. Muipela fe mweka mweka. The jobs you only give your fellow tribesmen from the Tonga land. The Zambian people are made to look like beggars. There is no way we could allow Hakainde Hichilema to be in office again. It would be a great mistake. So go and register to vote right now. We don't want a mafia for president. Those that advise him, that are in State House with him, they are nothing but riffraffs. He has a parallel structure from the intelligence. That's why he's detached even from the grassroots. The last time he made a statement to say, oh, you know what? People are telling me that I'll go through as a president, but I won't have MPs. Mr. President, sir, if you listen to this, even you, Uyenda boy, you are going in 2026. Politics is not a love affair. Presidency is not a love affair. We are not in a relationship whereby you owe us flowers. We are going to boot you out. You need to lose this job. So to the youth, stay calm, keep on registering to vote, and ensure you tell to remove this guy before we suffer. But chilamo ba UPN tusha abantu. Tababa bwino bali kose mitima. Mama Esther Lungu is in South Africa there. Tabala shika balume. You are busy donating in places. Who are you trying to prove to? Since when? Flying on a private jet. Ukula kuma hospitals that were renovated by your Edgar Lungu. And you think Zambians are fools? Zambians are not fools. This is a sign, and it's just the beginning. Zambia, oye,
Thank you very much. That's Lillian Mutambo from the United Kingdom. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, you are on now.
Because I've been trying to.
I'm so sorry. I've got a queue, but you are on now.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Bamwamba. I would like to thank you, for having created this platform. Yeah, it's something really which is helping people, to get everything that's happening in our country. Anyway, Bamwamba, yeah, let's get to, to facts. Ichibemba chitila. Ichikalipa chumfomwine. For those who can't understand, because there have been so many members coming around and, giving all these sayings. Those who can't understand it means that the pain is felt by the owner, the patient who is sick. Yeah. Of course, I'm not in support of what really happened today because it wasn't very good. And also, violence can cause a total disaster in the country. And this is what we don't want. I still go back. Ichikalipa chumfomwine. People have felt the pain for so many years. And they've been so quiet. They've been feeling it. So now they took this advantage. Yeah, that was the only way they could actually now talk to the president and say, look, we are not happy. Help us. And if it could only let our president sit down and reflect and look at how people have been crying out, I'm sure he can come back to his senses and say, no, things aren't going well in this country.
Thank you very much, Mama. Thank you for your contributions once again. Yeah, let's get your views. Let's hear your views. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador inafo ningalanda fe chalo kachapusana n'emikalire y'abantu fye before tawala afukana pali bukateeka elingili ni amafya yamu tatufire tulebanga bamuchebwa pali ino isatufikire namu bachumbu munshorolawo batoma mukiraso ile ambassador naraisho kupera fya ma examples kulingana fene na mano yanja ya nono techimpiti omubale pita Number 1 ine na bitontonkenye pwelio bachirangwa abakashi bafuire. Chali sanchita sana tachi na sa ingirira mokwe bati ushe bakateka. Mupachita wabyekiriri abapene kwa chopo bambire okuchinja babachiteko fe panoli bachirangwa baroshe n'abakashi bwino. Then mupashumbi wasanje bati abantu bafuire bachitari konsawo nakateka wabo nababambi obapusana na bena. Why turera ndapaliri konsawo ifina kumya kulifi. Turachingirira ya mwa mafia ya kurote chitusove nga ya Afrika. So fo tuchingirira okubomvya ya manorezo ya tupera. Tuachingirira obusanso bwa pantanshi fintu fyonse tuikalira mu kuchingirira. Uro obusanso nga bwa Afrika tatufire tuamba nokola kondema ti. Awoni shibachitire fyabo fwe balenga ti firafishitike ni fwewo. Because kwambira pali bachiruba. Maybe even bakaunda. Ambassador ndemyewo uyu mugodi wa kuchiwe mpala. Not na ila Black Mountain. Kwali uko afisama abantu bakulya ambassador bambo kuingira muri ali amawendo yabo bali abanono na mano bakwata tetu ikale na bena muba we unuboro ati unwe na bena charo chimbi bantu abapusanako so bakateka bafire bayishiba usha ababa nandi bonse abalipo chinshi basungire shani ababantu orona type ya mine yoyini ambassador we muntu feso yawe tetu ingire po pali ababena tibajirabu bakuchibwe mpala ni suicide chimona okupere bomu ati kabyoli okitenani kanyuko nangu bapange cyo shine mpia ni riski oro tabako atane fimbyo fo benga chitapa kifiri apantu bawishi bali muramwine na bawishikuru bali muramwine bonse muramwine kale ambaira mining kulya so nomba bena basa Afrika fe bayisala so bare tontonganyo ko batira crime ya bakale kula kuchwe mpara because kwali ba crime kwa abantu babakulya amano yali pusanako nomba bena babure sober mind yo bari abachite apply kuri bari abantu oro tu imoli mo ba intelligence babona bena ni chota bakwa tofona arandira tabakwa taba intelligence because nena ishubo ko batikateka nga isapo wanyu teka takuri ba intelligence because baraba intelligence bali kwatama principles yabo nangu bare bomba nakateka umbi nga isapo bali minina pakusunga echalo lero kuri abana ba trustee bakwa nakateka wali popatira system ile minina pakusunga echalo tetite mona kateka achitashani aona ole echalo nomba bena bali bara first yonse la system bayona ola which means baona ole echalo because nga bali kwata intelligence ifire chitika mucharo kateka nga mwambo okubofya ko bati abantu ama accident kulingana nenefona ishiba ama accident nga yachiramo mucharo basonta kateka ifintunga fyambo okupya mucharo basonta kateka so bena balingire batontonkanya wishe pali past 2 months ma station yanga yapya ushema market yanga yapya nomba pali fifi yapya ushabe karacharo bare tontonkanya pushani but bena bare chitafye fintu fya wasted vendere pamo. I remember mwana wasa ilio kwa disaster pachambe shipalya trot pata trot wa shirefu finshi fya chitike kuri mwana wasa butungurushe ubwa chitikepo abantu bagisalirira kuri chirubofu mire pali bukateka pantu just because mwana wasa aisa pali bukateka na abantu pachambe shipala ba yarama explosives ya ipe abantu bali tachawe mepata pali butungurushe ubusuma kwaje ukwishiba ba mwana wasa barasenda shanya abantu nangu nikula kune kuchibwe mpara tabachiringo okuyako balingire batie mwoshani uko first bakonkanya okutandalira bali abantu nempia shambo kubombosho bali bafwa na mastandi bambo kubakulira kateka ina wakuya tutako fe palast not 3 days ne mito ishirife muramwine na kateka omwa reptare nyandao tefo chiba that's why for randira timfu mutaifu ya Afrika muchatalala taifu ya Afrika mufia talala chitika fingi ne problem yaba chitatura shikale lweba chita create because nga bali tire kuri konsao no munabo na pana turera ndanga twalilosha ne fintu fyonze bya chitashani fya pone fina abantu barebe bakwatire ko kura chitefya baba no ba PF to support crime but kwali benshira imwe ya kusendera mwinga panga ishi umutende so fyonze fya abantu barebe bayo mune wifunya chipampi efyo wachitawo yo mune ukukunga ndokole ikala takuri bwino balera ndine soft but nani kane side effect ya fintu filo fibale kwe bapo nga fyasa mboku chitika kwa mboku mureka kwa abantu nabakupata pantu file fya chitika inali ngufa n'ensoni omunandi okwisa njipushati kwisa ntumira foni ati iwe kinki kiri ekitika ku mwenu bakateeka bato baama bo bakateeka boobyo kinki nafira nefyakwasuka nomba bambasada which is not good. So ikyalo bantu not omuntu awe ikyalo bantu barenfa ku bantu before efintu ifingi tafira arubana papene pa platform nimbona nomba barebuula ama pictures ya PF n'amapanga ya miropa shaba PF gacina miropa shakale olo babuula neine yakukibwe mpaleyi ine abachi bako kulali n'abantu abengero barepunda PF tonse aranze balesefya baranga fyakulalanda velionse pali ba PF ebalenga tinomba naifo turerande ishitayonse tachiwa mawe beshi byokuteeka abantu kuteeka embwa maano nga tawuteekere wiro embwa kuya mukipyo kula kuchingolo mutende kale wapwa kire ekishara ky'amaanyi bashitisha kirya kishara ky'abaana balya ky'amafenga balya mboku basopa panono tabakwatoko bengaya olo bala abantu bali savuka kale masavage takuli na kampani yo bengaya ingirako so balireterera n'abantu abama business balireterera nga mwatu muna muchita investigate mwatuma ba journalist kuli ba ambassador tumwasanga tabekala kyalo kulya kuchiwe mpara umutende tapaba imbita kwa bana okwenda na phone kumino nishina abapoka mwamona abantu babera mu affected but bena babura ama million bali abekala kyalo abale ibombera amashopu baleocha murando wakire kishara kya mugodi ulya because wala abantu abasavukire kumabwe basavukira nomba ku bantu so bale onfwako abantu fe baleranda umwishe wate busuma olona ekiriro ky'abalungu basayine fye nangufye omukinshita omwana ekyatyo bakateeka shani please tulipangaza shenu ba echi ba eoda muli bena kristu wala abantu abamitemwa bonse baramipatirira mufye kiteni fye ririzi mufwe bakiteshani bashike mwikale akataramukira lesabe nayi mutwami papata katurefuo kwamba okutola emipamba muno mukyalo weshenye omutima ukubika omutima efyo teusuma intunguru shikuyichefya nga wayichefya ukasambirira efingi tekweba chubutunguru shikukwata amano kushunguruka nabakwete amano nayo bena bashikwete amano mwayezu shaku state house yabo batamfyeni ngomunene mwana wasakwanishe shani okubombana ba opposition nomba imufira mwarekanya banene nukweba tibe bomfya abantu bena mwifukonkerera weshenye omutende mukyalo nefintu shonse fyara ikontorola ayo masaiti effect yakulanga okweba ti mukyalo tamuli omutende kisuma bamwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Security. Can you make sure that these chaps who are coming from behind are blocked? Security, can you block these youths who are coming from behind? Can you block them, please? Youths who are coming from behind.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling within Zambia.
Thank you. Yeah, make your contributions.
Yes, my contribution, Ambassador. We are not living well in our nation with this president. And the things that has happened in Chiwempara, I salute the people of Chiwempara what they have done. For me, it's a plus. Because the president, what he has been doing to the former president's family, Joseph, it's all coming back to him as a case. God is not happy. People are in prison at the moment. They are crying to God Almighty. But the president is doing things like a person who is not educated. Look at how the nation is going. The nation has got no direction because background were honorable by ambassador. Baleba Beba, he's surrounded by the small group. Valeria Kofi. And I hope the president and the intelligence, they are watching your show by Emmanuel Mamba. You are doing a recommendable job. That man, people are lying him. He has failed. It's a failed project. And he shouldn't even temper with 2026 elections. It's a no. What has happened in Chiwembara? It's a sign that there is more to come, worse than that. But I hope they are failed people. The problem that they are making by Mano Mamba, they are just employing their relatives. That's why the intelligence, it is a failure. It is having an expertise. Before the president in Chiwembara, but I hope he must go on the ground and tell the president to say the ground is not allowing you to go there. Just like by Mano Mamba, for 2026, the ground is not fit for the president. But if you force himself to be in campaign, something bad by Mamba, mark my words, I'm not kidding him. It is a no-go area. If a small town like Chiwembara, the Chingola people can do that, what of Bamatero? What of Bachiwodia? What of other towns where there are crazy people? The problem, the intelligence are scared to tell him the truth. And the problem, it is with him, Akainde Itilema. But Emmanuel Mamba is too arrogant. President is too arrogant. He cannot listen to people what they are telling him. Mamonaka is endangering his life. The better Bamwamba, that person, to step down. The ground is not fit for him. I'm grateful for you, Bamwamba. May God continue to protect you. Turapepa, one day resaka tuletanga abana ba Israel. Bonse baliriana muntemba, bonse abaye abaluba, n'abakagwa. We are praying. Ero ba Emmanuel Mwamba, ababantu balipanga ota. Ifo ota kubati. Abena zambi okubabeera omwenso, they cannot speak. We rebuke that demonic order. Palikwata enchantment. Pabofo bachita party. Twala pepa Emmanuel Mwamba. You people, you come back. This is your mother's land. There's so much wrong. But Freemason baingira. How can Mama leso kwa Emmanuel Mwamba? Waditamsha amapepo kuiro stadium. Mama no fwachite obukali bwakwalesa kuchiko mbala. There is more to come. By Mano Mamba, the Ndande thing sana na total have been wanting to be on this platform. God bless you and your family. I cover you with the blood of Jesus and every patriotic front and the family of late President EPL. May God protect them. No evil hand in Jesus' name. Amen. By Mano Mwamba.
I'm grateful, my brother. Thank you very much. I've got a caller waiting already. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, caller. Yes. Do you want to call on the program or you are calling me personally? I'm live on the program. Do you want to call on the program or you want to speak to me privately?
Okay. No problem. Private.
Okay, then I'll call you. I think, sorry, that's someone I know. They are calling, but I thought I recognized their number and clearly they wanted to make contributions. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, Mr. Mwamba. I'm going to be anonymous.
Anonymous, give us your contributions.
I think my contribution is that it's really sad to see what happened, but I'm going to say it should be a wake-up call to HH. People are not happy, and him and his government won't continue to pretend as if they're not seeing what's happening in the country. Okay? People have been gagged. People are unable to speak. So the only way that people feel they can be heard is by acting. And how can they act? They'll unleash their anger to HH, nobody else but him, not his people, not the people who are lying to him, not his ministers or his advisors. No. People believe to say he's the president and he knows what is happening. As much as people are going to say, no, his advisors, the people are lying to him and whatever, HH said he's always on the internet. So he sees whatever is going on. So this should be a wake-up call for him to say people are not happy. And people are willing to go at any length just to make sure they receive their freedom. Zambia is no longer a democratic country. As far as I'm concerned, we're now in a dictatorship. And as Zambians, this is new. We can't adapt to the way of ruling that these people have brought. We can't. And it's really disheartening to say they are making us look like monsters, or they're making the Zambian people look like monsters when they're not. Zambian people are peaceful. And if HH wants to keep the peace that has been there, the peace that our forefathers fought for, I think he needs to change his way of ruling. He needs to listen more to the people. He needs to go to the ground and talk to people. He shouldn't listen to whoever lies to him. He should listen to what the people want. Otherwise, that's it, Mr. Mwamba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There are so many calls. Please call, please call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Mwewa from Livingstone.
Yes, Mwewa.
First, therefore, kusha kwa Mazambians. Noko bakuroseresho kwa bakutira ati nomba ineveto alaruka. Eko tuafume kutari potore ya pepe. Ku 2021, I think kutari. By 2026, bashafika shika ni 8 months to ram kuvota. So ndikusirisha kupa Mazambians we're hope. Amamba uchachisika lero kuri bakateka. Fintu ifya msebanya nganji. Of course, I condemn the attacks on the president. But on the other hand, the question is, why did people react like that? People reacted like that because there's a message which they want to send to the president. Police. In the recent past, how has the police been treating people, especially the members of the opposition? The police Edgar Lungu bakulira manda. The police Edgar Lungu ali asaba na improve. Kule mutumanda tolekaramba police those days. But we got to my elephant. But Edgar Lungu Aisha senda standard ya kwa America no kubakulira manda asuma sana. But look at what the police did to Edgar Lungu. So that's a call to the police to say Zambians are not happy with how you are reacting. And for the police, for the crowd to coach a motoka area. Barirando go but Zambians, Namvatonsa. Zambians are a pillar. So, Nangwa police. Actually, police so much planning for Tipari. So, the message, it's very strong that is going towards the police. And then, it's also a very strong message that is going towards the president. Because president is an office. There was a lot of security detail there. But see, that's conscious of the patch of our president. But one of their security vehicles, that's a very strong signal. Now, how should the response be? If it's a very responsible government, they should realize that there are certain things that they are not doing right, which the people of Zambia are not happy about. And that is number one, the economy. Economy terrible. Mr. President, I want to end that economy terrible. In Saram Charona, Fla. Favorite that were footed a go. So, the president of Africa could unemployment. Africa could economy. Africa could unity amchalo. That is what they are supposed to respond if it's a responsible government. But in the Tuaram for government, not to get a power reform, not to tell Shan can, not to Rungakubanga. You should be free to issue 2 of your when Karamba. So, message Yareva Mwamba, Iliasukana, what happened in Tanzania, what happened in Mfumbwe, you remember? Mfumbo kuli ya mine. Aba nisa wakopa beotuko. Bali kwa temu na wo chef 187. Alirandoko wati. Kwesumu kuwa ebulimi. Balaba aliku mfumbwe. Mama ina zawa fumine kopa beotu. Kuleko bali. Niku ibala. Wale mkulima. Umukuba. But what was the response from the government? Instead of giving them mining licenses, what did the government do? People died.
Bamwewa, to send the Konabambiama cause. Let's get some other cause. Mkwa inatasha sana Bamwewa.
Like I said, and the Kosalisha Kofama Zambens, the Poturia Pepe. Put off me could
Thank you.
Olubiro lwamba abantu kati. Kanana. President bapepeka kuno kuchingola tata. Basarangana bonse. Kapari ushere. Bali lwana bachingola ndekwewa. President bapepeka kuno. Yabashani. Bapepeka. Kwamba kwa injwa. Abantu balirwana. Ngola kuno Mungu ata. Bapepeka bakapokole. Vai kata vai ser bu. Vai ser bu vai kata. Vai ser bu vai kata. Vai ser bu vai kata. Vai ser bu vai kata.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador, mkongena bwela fe. Na question mupate kuna chafu kupisha ambassador. Sorry, but tafili muli kwetulera ndapa kushikubwa lero. Ndefo afe muchite clarify ama post mbwene pamura ndo aba ama kebizuru. Ya chinka na ngo ya bufi.
What are you talking about?
Naba posa sana ama nani kane yabo ayene ama media yabo. Naba bikama headlines yabo pama shani yabo ati makebizuru arrested.
Oh, okay. No, I'll make some calls. I'll announce before the end of the program.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay, let's begin to take the last calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thanks so much, Ambassador.
Yes.
This is Honorable J.J. Banda.
Oh, Honorable J.J. Banda. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and you? How are you?
Very well, very well. Please make your contributions.
Yeah. For me, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, I can tell you to say, this what is happening. I'm sure it's God who is trying to tell the president something. God is trying to communicate something with the president, because you remember when he called the day of prayer as a useless day of prayer.
Yes.
And then, two, his Secretary General, the CEO of the party UPND, Secretary General Imenda, called Archbishop Lucifer. Again, not that again he has continued his members. Right now they are sponsoring Tayali, who is insulting a woman, a mother, who was our first lady. And to us, she's still our first lady. But she's being undressed. Called names. Called what? They have thrown away our culture. They have thrown away our Christianity values. And also, look, even the minister of energy mocking Zambians, forcing Zambians to say, even if I'm beating you, but you should clap for me. You clap for me. I know you are annoyed, but you clap for me, forcing the people. And if you remember on Thursday, I had a program where I was live, where I told the people of Chingola to say, if you are a chitikani, apa valeisa, valempere unga, valampere vintu, ifingi patisendeni, pokeni. Nalila ndeba wa Chingola. I told them to say, but just boo him. We want to come and remove him. The instructions were to boo him, just to boo him, to show him to say, God doesn't allow what is happening, the injustice. Ambassador Mwamba, yourself, let's start with Tayali. Tayali, the children are suffering. They are crying. They were crying before he joined UPND. Do you think those tears, they were just drying for nothing? Your children, Ambassador Mwamba, right now they are crying. Do you think the tears, they can just dry like that? My children, myself who is talking here, my children are crying, Ambassador Mwamba. Misozi y'abana banga ingaende so chape. Ambassador Mwamba bashilangwa. Vana vao misozi ikali kuchoka. Patete vao wenzolila, vanafa, because of vanalipenda lama yongalila mu hospital. Do you think if bashilangwa benze ba MP benzo sebenza, batete vao wasimbe vanafa? Asimbe si wanafa, asimbe chilangwa na wapeleka to private hospital. Asimbe na wasi wenzerapo, asimbe wanapurumuka. Wakazi vao, wabashilangwa. Kuti washilangwa benze mushe, asimbe wakazi vao si wanafe. Wachitotela. The children are crying. Pumani, Malanji, Munia, all Nakachinda, all of them, there are no cases which we can quote to say they are cases. But Mr. Hakainde Hichilema him is enjoying life together with the wife, together with the children. His children, he's enjoying with him. His families are enjoying with him. But now, do you think God is happy? God is not happy. What Mr. Hakainde did on the eve of independence to that church, it wasn't good. It was uncalled for. All that God is seeing. We have been praying. Our children are crying. They are praying to say we want our parents back home. So this is just a wake-up call. Zambia, it's gone. Ambassador Mwamba can tell you, I've grown up in politics. Even you have been in politics. You have worked at that state house. You have controlled the state house yourself before. You know how it is. Right now, I can assure Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to say, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, this is the time now just to reconcile with the people so that you can, your legacy at least can say there was a bad leader who mistreated the opposition, but later on he reconciled with them so that the wife and the children shouldn't pass what we are going through in the near future. So that the children, when they go to the office, when they found that there's a son of Mr. Chitotera in the office, when he introduced himself to say, I'm Refugee Hakainde, then he will be welcomed. Because if we are going like this until next year when we make him a new former president, I can assure to you to say, any Hakainde name, it will be a case in Zambia to go into any office. That will be the legacy which Hakainde is living. You know, right now, there in Chingola, what has happened? We know any president of the 6th president we have in Zambia. They have never experienced such. No one has been chased like that. But why him has he been chased? He's chased because of the injustice, because of all the bad things he's doing. And I can assure Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to say, right now he's not fighting with the Zambians. He's fighting with God. He's fighting with God. Especially where he went in Tanzania. The spirit of those people who died in Tanzania, more than 1,000. He came with that spirit. And he will continue fighting with it. I can only ask Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to go to Pastor Sinyangwe so that they can pray Apostle Sinyangwe, so that he can pray for him, for that spirit to distance himself from that spirit which he got from Tanzania. Even the spirit of Enoch Simfukwe is on him because it's him who instructed Gilbert to issue, to reduce the case before it goes into trial. We have seen a lot of murder cases, Ambassador Mwamba, where the cases are being reduced after trial. On when the judge is ruling case to answer.
The line is cutting. The line is cutting, Honorable. Let me just call you back. Let me call this number back. This is our dear brother, a former Petauke independent member, JJ Banda. So let me just call him back so that he gets a clearer line. We want him to exhaust his views. And thank you. We've had a huge number of you, the callers. We are grateful for what you've done. Let me just try to call back Honorable JJ Banda. Let me just try to call him back.
Natumfwane mkwai Nisikulia mabwe
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, hi, this is Precious from Livingston.
Yes, Precious, make your contributions.
Yes, yeah, I really felt bad about what happened in Chingola. So what happened there, it's a sign to show that the people of Zambia now, they don't like him. So if I were the people who advise them, who advise the president, they were supposed to advise him wisely. Because it's not right anyway. I really felt bad. That one is the president. What the right is, I'm not happy with whatever is happening in this government, but again, on the other side, as a president, he deserves respect. And that's the truth. So for them to do that such of reaction, it means they don't like him. So what he's supposed to do is to listen to the people of Zambia. He should do every time when people they condemn, he should be concerned on what the Zambian people want, not to do what he wants just because he has got instrument of power. But now you can see they showed him that even if he has the instrument of power, that this is what they can do. So now it's up to Zambian people now to work on the weaknesses that they have. Even other presidents, when they come, they should also learn from what has happened that side. Because what has happened to the president back in the Chema, it can happen even to any other president if you take advantage of people of Zambia. So let's do what is right, all of us. 2026, we just vote him out instead of harming him. It's not right. They should not harm him or do anything to him. Let them just vote him out if they don't want him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Precious says, just register as a voter. Don't harm the president. Register as a voter to get him out. Hello, I had to call back Honorable JJ Banda, former member of parliament for Petauke. He's in exile like me. Honorable JJ Banda, continue your thoughts. You got cut there.
Yes, so me, I wanted to assure Mr. Gainde Chirema to say he should learn from his friend, President Lazarus Chakwera, the former president of Malawi, who had put the daughter to his best friend as the Malawi Electoral Commissioner, the one who was in charge. But because of the margin difference, she failed to contend the pressure until she announced the winner. So even in the next year, which is coming, I can assure Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to say, Madam Zaromis, she won't do anything. If Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, him, can manage to be a coward there to start running away from the people, what can fail Madam Zaromis to do the same what Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has done in Chingola? And him, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has been on record to say he's a chief shushushu. Shushushu meaning, in English we say, is a chief intelligence officer. So if he's a chief intelligence officer, why didn't he see to say such will be coming? But for the first time, he was made to start growing as a president with powers, a chief commander for armed forces, to be a coward like that. So I can assure him to say power belongs to the people. And I'm asking him to say it's not too late. Let him ask for forgiveness from the people. And he should find one of the Sundays before we go into next year. He should find one of the Sundays, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, he should go and kneel down to Bishop Alik Banda to ask for forgiveness. He should go and kneel down to Apostle Sinyangwe. You saw even Israel, a man down to earth. He went into Apostle Sinyangwe's church. He knelt down. He asked for forgiveness from the people. And he released the people to say, no. I don't have any case on you people. That's why he was a free man. So even him, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, he should go and do the same, because I can assure him to say the tears of the people whom he has punished without committing any offense, it's dangerous. Those tears are dangerous to me, Ambassador Mwamba. Because imagine the way your children are suffering without your presence right now. And if they can't even just tell you, but at night they pray to the Almighty God, and also they cry, they wipe. God wiped their tears. And when God wipes your tears, it's very dangerous. So as it is now, I can tell Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to say, for us who have been in government before, if such things are happening, which means even the civil servants are not with you, all of them, they have already moved. And it's only that he has even survived that because we don't have yet a president on the biggest political party. If the PF were the president, things were going to be worse. Things were going to be worse, Ambassador Mwamba. And he thinks that by removing me, by removing you from there, by caging all the voices, he thinks we can't, us who are outside, we can't manage to communicate with the people. You can imagine, I managed to communicate with the people on Thursday. I told them to say, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is coming there. Before him, Hakainde Hichilema could announce to say he's going where? He's going to Chingola. So him, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, should ask himself to say, how did these people knew? Because you, Ambassador Mwamba, you knew on Thursday, before Hakainde announced to say you'll be in Chingola. You knew to say you'll be in Chingola. You'll be visiting the market. You will give money to the marketeers. And you can imagine 10 million. And he has sent this one, Nkandu, also in Mchinga province, to go and distribute 5,000 motor bicycles into all the districts when the country doesn't have electricity. When the farmers, they are not yet paid despite the rains have started. The farmers, they don't have fertilizer. Ama farmers tawakweta omufundo, but infula na itampa. Ambassador, what kind of a president who claimed to say he's a farmer? Now the rains have started. The farmers tawakweta omufundo, tawakweta seed, valiye fertilizer, lumba vali metia. And the 5 million he borrowed, which the minister announced, which he borrowed from the local banks, it's a drop in an ocean, because the money which is owed to the farmers, it's a lot. That 5 billion, it can't even manage to pay one province, Ambassador Mwamba. I'm a farmer. It can't manage that 5 billion to finish one province. But look now, he has just given them 5 billion. The rains have started. Now, what are they going to plant? You think he thinks that even the farmers who are in Chingola, they were happy today. They're not happy. He thinks the Chingola people, those who are in urban, in Chingola, those who are attending rallies, he thinks they're happy when Kuchingola now basangusha nomba kwa bakumunshi, because they don't have electricity. The people who had electricity, who had forgotten about Kendro, I think for the past their entire life, they have never experienced life of a Kendro, a life of parafini ututolitori. Koma nomba bantu walekalira ututolitori. Ambassador Mwamba. Is that the life the people are happy? And then he's mocking them to say, those who are saying that life is difficult, which means they don't stay here. Really? That's why sometimes we question to say, who advised the president? Or where did they grow up to have those minds of mocking the people? Ambassador Mwamba, you have been to State House. What happened yesterday with that minister? That minister cannot be kept, the Minister of Energy, by mocking the people. By that time when you were at State House, Ambassador Mwamba, the president, Chirula, wouldn't have condoned that. Even Israel couldn't have condoned that. Even Arabi couldn't have allowed that. Even Mwanawasa couldn't allow that. But him is allowing. Is the first president who is moving with the abductors every day. He's moving as a president. You are running a country, but your advisor, your political advisor, and your spokesperson, all of them, they are abductors. The people who have been accused of abductors. Why can't you allow them, excuse them, to say, you be arrested, go and I want you to be cleaned by the justice system. Indeed, if you are clean. But he has just swept everything under the carpet to say, no, Levin Goma, you are okay. Let's go. And they were with Levin Goma. And the people of Chingola, I was talking on their behalf on Thursday. Do you think after seeing the president with Levin Goma, the people of Chingola can be happy to say this is the one who chased our MP, who was talking on our behalf? You saw even in parliament, the person who talked on their behalf of the people of Chingola, it was Honorable Kangombe from Kitwe. But the MP, Chipoka Mulenga, Chirundika, they were quiet in parliament to talk about the fire incidents. They are quiet to talk about the mountain there, if you don't go Makulia. Tabarelandapo, abantu balechula, whereby PF, Ambassador Mwamba, PF, allowed those people were working there. A lot of them, they bought vehicles. Some of them, now they are directors. Look at Sparks Mining, today is a director. But he was working like those kids, those boys there. But after UPND coming, everyone was stopped. So, Ambassador Mwamba, I can assure to you to say, your voice, people are following. My voice, people are following. All the voices which are outside, people are following. Even South Africa, Zimbabwe, when they were fighting for independence, some of them, they were being kept in Zambia, some were kept in Tanzania. Tanzania, in fact, was one of the countries which were training soldiers to fight for independence. So even now, us, Ambassador Mwamba, where you are there now, you are like those, the South African who were in Tanzania, being trained. Even you, wherever you are being trained to fight for the second independence. Where I am here, I'm being trained to fight for independence. Everyone who is in diaspora out of the country, who is talking about the second independence, they are there too. They are there being trained to fight for independence, and we are going to fight for this independence.
Thank you very much, Honorable JJ Banda. I hope you have finished your thoughts. Thank you very much.
Yes, for today, I can just stop here, and I can tell you to say, don't worry, Ambassador Mwamba. You have been in different government. You have been in MMD, you have been in PF, and in PF, when you were in MMD, you were not forced to join PF. They had to negotiate with you. They never abducted you. They never tortured you for you to join PF. You joined yourself. Because they negotiated, they saw to say you had influence. They saw to say you had value. They saw your value. That's why the PF, they had to negotiate with you to say, can we work together? But the UPND, they don't know. When they see to say Mwamba has got influence, the next thing they'll do is to abduct, to torture Mwamba, and to accuse him with a lot of cases so that he can join them for free. There's nothing, it doesn't work like that. Negotiate with Mwamba. SATA appointed 75% of deputy ministers from MMD, people who were opposing him. He never abducted them. He never tortured them. He never accused them. He negotiated with them. But Hakainde Hichilema is the first president who is even negotiating by intimidating. Look, even all the MPs who are working with him from the opposition, they're not benefiting anything. They have been intimidated to say who arrest you, who abduct you, who will kill you. But is that the Christianity values is what we believe in those Christianity values? No.
Thank you, Honorable JJ Banda, and thank you for contributing to this program.
Okay.
Thank you. That was Peter Oke, former Peter Oke, Independent Member of Parliament. I'll take the last four phone calls. We've been on for 3 hours. This was an urgent matter, and I'm glad. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
I am calling from the highland within Zambia. I think you can hear from the background, where we even shift from our homes. Now we are sleeping in poultry because of load shedding. Seriously. You're putting the candles everywhere to avoid the bend of the chickens, although we are running at a loss. I think this is a reality. To be very honest speaking, God is upset because of the true voices that Kainde and his colleagues, they have chased, that can speak for the people of Zambia. Now this is the fire, and this fire, nobody will quench it, to be very honest. This is the indication that they should just resign. And once they resign, somehow they'll be remembered and they'll be appreciated. But as it is for now, nothing good will come for these guys. Because the truth is, the true people that they have chased in this country, true people that they have killed in this country, Zambia, their blood is crying as it is for now. And it's a warning also to Dr. Nevas Mumba and to Chief Diary. They should learn, because they failed to come to this country, Zambia, because nobody will welcome them. Nobody will tolerate their nonsense, because these guys don't speak for us Zambians. They only speak for the UPND. They know they are doing wrong things, but them, they want to compromise things, but not this time. And I thank God for you, Ambassador, because you are true ambassador from heavens. The Bible is clear saying we are the ambassadors. We represent the kingdom of God here on earth. And that's what you are doing exactly, because you are not corrupt. You never changed. You always speak the truth, just like JJ Banda. And by JJ Banda, you are blessed, because to be very honest, you would have gone just like Mama Edith Nawakwi, but God preserved you. You carry the mantle of Nawakwi by the Banda. Remember to pray for that soul always, because that soul served you. And this is the time that you now speak on our behalf in your absence. And we bless you, Adiji Banda. We bless you, Amwamba. It is well. Continue speaking for us and continue praying for this country as we pray for you. Again, the time has expired 100%. Let's just wait for whatever is coming. Anything is possible for now. Don't deceive ourselves. I submit. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Thank you very much. And that marks to be our last caller. Join us for another broadcast on Monday. God bless you, and thank you for joining us.
Olubiro lwamba abantu tatu. Kanana. President bapepeka kuno kuchingola tata. Basarangana bonse. Kapari ushiri. Bari lwana bachingola ndekwewa. President bapepeka kuno. Yabashani. Bapepeka. Kwamba kwa injua. Abantu bari Rwanda. Ngora kuno Mungu atata. Takwa barakumbe chingore yini. Chingora tata. Nana tata. Lero bwacha bakamba mu kyalo kyeswi kya Zambia kyaweka enjoy. Abantu bafo bakamba kule kumumfumbwe. More than 20 people barebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to Arufyanya. People have died. Mumino Yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government, Bagamba, abductions have happened. Bagamba. If you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change big man. Fish to Arufyanya Bakubika Moves. Fish to Arufyanya. Why me? Missing. Achani Ruba Mwaicho and Dizona. Where is why me? Agent, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo agent. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha Bagamba. Katwale kya kulanda big man. Why you think? Maina watata. Zambia tuwasevana. Bagamba. Wanesa tuwapweni. Mujala jesu. Ichi ya Zambia. Tuwamona mwempwa. Bagamba. Tuwamona mwempwa. Nama abductions Bagamba. Ubuteko tuwaleta. Wadulete lama. Amazala mush. No you can take her. Kola ipompa chureka. No you can take her. Apa nomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you day at Wafwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Ita ya Wafwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mayona batata. Mayona batata. Bayuthi. Tentwisuli amenso. Batusendela nomba batwipaira na hope Yesu. Endika chagwa lungu watubela tinani mikwatila plan B. Nomba tuwalishiba plan B abamino ya kualesa. Bantu banga abalafu mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia. Nibanga abantu abala abducted mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia. Bambire kuli jeje banda. Nibanga abantu abala ba prison. Abena chitotela chilangwa. Wonde baba prison netunguru shina shimbi. Muri one government ya kwa ejeje. Abantu naba famweleza. Aikata nomba baikata na kuyetika chagwa lungu atukwatile plan B. Abakubo byabyo mufulo big man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bilabine batsendela yetika chagwa. Abano babane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. bakufuatika fuatika kwenyu tayakwa kwe aikona mani itayakwa kwe yakuliati kwenyu
HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are